So we are starting a series of learning how to make full stack applications very, very fast. And this will be a combination of AI and all the famous tech stack related tools that people use. For this, we will be using a very, very simple tech stack in all of these different projects that you see. So it will be Next.js, Firebase or Supabase, and Vercel. This is the basic tech stack for building the whole application. And then you have different libraries, AI, APIs, all the different things. And finally, you have payments. So payments will be through Stripe or something else. Payments are optional. You can build a lot of applications without payments. But if you want to add payments, Stripe, Dodo Pay, Razorpay, Polar.sh, Lemon Squeezy, you have multiple different options, and there are few requirements that you need to fulfill as a business in order to get that live API key for using the payments. So what we will do is we will look at for each project, and we will build hundreds of different projects, and you will see that how there are three ways of building a product. First is to use AI app completely, so you don't have to code at all. Second is to use coding and write everything yourself. And third is a mix. So you can use tools like Cursor or Windsurf to use both AI and your knowledge to build these applications. But you can also build these without any coding. So we will go into each section. We will learn what AI tools we need to use. We will learn which tech stack we need to use, and then we will learn Supabase, Firebase, how to add Stripe, Vercel, and then we will build a series of applications in which I will do a speed run of sort of different applications that you can make. So let's say housing directory, different job directory, anything that you want to make from zero to deployed version. I will show you every single hack on the way, and we will see hundreds of different examples. So make sure you're following all these videos. I'll be posting it on for free on the YouTube, AI builders, daily AI skills or AI builders, and you can follow it along, make these products, make SaaS tools with AI, powerful AI tools that we have in the market. And let's dive deep into all the different things that are available. So firstly, let's understand the tech stack a little bit. We will be using Next.js for the basic framework. Next.js is a React framework, and React.js is basically a front-end library that you can use to make awesome applications on the internet. If you want to go a little bit more basic, you can use HTML, CSS, JavaScript, core vanilla JavaScript, as we say. Some people also use PHP, Laravel, Ruby on Rails. There's many different frameworks on the internet. But Next.js is very easy and very simple to use, very simple to deploy. So there are many reasons why you should be using Next.js. There can be reasons why you should not be using Next.js. For example, if you want to have something which is backend heavy, if you want to have something which is processing heavy, a lot of people like to prefer Flask or some sort of other backend that is easy to use. Some people like Ruby on Rails, some people like Django. So people have different interests and different alignments according to their own projects. But this is something which is industry recognize. You can use it easily, very, very easy. So first step is what is Next.js. So first is you can also learn Next.js from the website directly for free. There's a very nice two articles or two courses that they have, React Foundation and Next.js. What I would recommend is just go through this complete article a little bit. Obviously you won't understand the whole complete React.js in just one day, but it will take you know a few days or weeks to understand it completely. A quick overview of this would be, I'll give you in a different video, but quick overview of this can be just like you have all the front end related components that you can see. So even on this page, you see a nav bar, you see some sliding thing going on, you see a page, you see a navigation bar, you see a footer, and then you see all these different interactions. All of this is happening with React.js. All of the front end code is written in React, which is a simple front end library. Second is that Next.js also has some backend features, right? So what you can do in Next.js is you can also call those backend functions. So you can any API that you have, any backend function that you have, any server side thing that you have to do that lives on the server, that lets you want to authenticate the user, you want to add payments, all those things can also be done in Next.js. So again, we will be using Next.js. There's a very brief intro, and we won't be diving deep into the Next.js. We will just be looking at code snippets. So if you don't know Next.js at all, or if you don't know React.js at all, then you should look at other videos first, learn about React a little bit, learn about Next.js a little bit, and then come back to this. For Next.js, there are a couple of things to keep in mind that, obviously it is not a perfect framework, but it is very compatible with Vercel, obviously, because Vercel.com is the company behind Next.js. So Vercel is a product that we will use for deploying our applications. So I will talk about Vercel in a different video, but Vercel basically has your domain system, hosting, all these different things for deploying your application. So you take your code from the local storage to from your local laptop to Vercel, and then we connect the domain, and it will be a deployed project. You can have a link. It's they have a very good free model, free pricing tier. You can pay $20 a month for other things. But yeah, Vercel is a very big company. I think if you look at the Vercel funding, you will see that they have raised about $250 million at 3.25 billion. So they are not going anywhere for now. But yeah, there are many other alternatives like Heroku and all these things. One last thing about Next.js is that they have app router now, which is in the new update. So obviously with the frameworks, there are some cons of using all these frameworks because things keep changing. So they had a pages router back in the day, but now they have an app router, right? So once you, I don't know why it's not saving app router, but let's go to the app router, or let's look at the app router course. You will see that there's a little bit difference on how the routing works. So you need to learn in Next.js that how the routing is working, how the folder structure is made, how you need to call those backend functions. There's an API folder that you want to learn, and once you learn the basics, I think you can just go and dive deeper into how to build these SaaS products. So again, this course or these videos are not for learning React or Next.js. You should learn React, Next.js separately, and then once you're done with that, come back and we will just be learning how to make all these products and SaaS tools very, very fast, easy, deploy it in 1 2 3 hours. Some people do that, and just make hundreds of SaaS tools, hundreds of directories, whatever you want to do, very, very easily. Now let me give you a brief introduction of Supabase. Supabase is a very, very nice overall serverless backend structure that you can say, and it's a very nice product all in all. What you can use it for is many, many different things. So first of all, this actually solves a lot of painful problems. First is that, let's say you want to add authentication, you want to have a database, you want to have real-time notifications, you want to have some functions that run on the internet, want to have some cron jobs. All these different things would have taken you weeks of development, months of development, and you would have to build everything from scratch. For example, authentication, you would have to build things from scratch and be like, okay, how do you make the form? Then you have some server function which inserts the user in the database. You need to have some functions which checks the user. You need to have a database, and you need to worry about all these security things, and you need to worry about all these different functions that you are making. So again, if you don't want to go that route, again, this is not for somebody who works at a company who probably use what the company does. But if you don't want to go through that route, you can easily just use Supabase. And Supabase is very, very simple, very, very easy. So they have built-in functions for you, they have built-in structures for you, so you only have to copy paste in a way. And the AI models are very strong now. Bolt and Lovable, they both have integrations. I'm going to talk about it in the next video. But all the new AI tools that are coming in the market, and in the future too, Firebase and Supabase have totally taken off. And Supabase, they had 250,000 members this weekend alone, because Lovable had a free weekend thing going on. So Supabase, users skyrocketed, and everybody is using Supabase Firebase. Hundreds of different SaaS applications are hosted on this, but there are many other alternatives as well that you can use. So first alternative is Firebase. So you can use Firebase as well. Firebase is a product from Google. I will give you a brief introduction of both these tools. Very, very easy to use. You can use Firebase Studio also. And if I go into the solutions or dashboard for both, I will show you that they have, let's say, used first make a simple project. You will see that they have a bunch of things. First is, okay, well, we have a pause project right now. Let's look at a quiz that we have. So we have 11 tables in this quiz. So this is basically a database, right? So we have different tables for a database. Different tables will store different information. You have a user database, achievement database, questions database, quiz session database, you have portfolio database. This is for a quiz app. So again, you have all these tables that will store your information. These are very easy to make. You can use SQL editor to make these tables. You can have templates where you can just use create table name, and you have quick starts that you can also use all these things. So let's say you want Stripe subscriptions, you can have a starter template with Supabase already integrated. So again, building these SaaS tools have become very, very easy. Building is super easy now because you have existing templates, you have AI tools, you have AI knowledge. You don't even need to debug. Back in the days, 10 years back or 7 years back or 5 years back, you had to debug so many things. You had to find out and dig deep in the documentations. You don't have to do that anymore. You can just use quick starts, templates, existing tools, existing backend hosting, everything combined, and you can easily build these SaaS tools very, very fast. So these are the templates. So you can use any template. So let's say you want to create a table, you can create a table, run this, it will create a table in the table editor. Then you have to connect these different sort of tables, and I will tell you how to connect these, how to use this. You need some sort of database engineering, not a lot, but you have AI that can basically do the things for you as well. So this also actually has an AI thing. I don't see it right now, but Supabase has the AI editor, or you can say, let's find it out actually real quick. You can say Supabase AI assistant, and this will help you. You can go through this, and this will actually help you make these tables. So let's say if you can just write an English query and be like, okay, I just want to do, and then you can, I don't know, maybe this probably helps, but I'll show you all the AI different AI tools in a separate video. But this is a brief introduction to the tables that you have. So this is a simple database that Superbase will have for you. This is all on the cloud. You don't have to download Superbase or download Firebase, anything like that. You can share it with other team members, and you also have different policies. So it comes with RLS policies, sort of different policies for different tables. So let's say you have a user table, you don't want the public to see the user table, you protect it. You have a restaurant app, let's say, so you have a restaurant table, you want to protect it, put an RLS policy, and then you don't have to do anything. So all those policies can be easily written with AI too. You don't have to use your brain all the time. Second big feature is authentication. So once I'll go through Superbase, then I'll show you what Firebase is. Second is that you have all these different authentications in Superbase. You have different policies, you have different sign-in providers. So let's say you want to have Apple sign-in, you want to have Discord sign-in, you want to have GitHub sign-in, Figma sign-in. GitHub sign-in is very useful for coding-based tools. You probably have seen coding editors that people are using. Easily you can do this. Second is you have a user table already here. So this is the users that will sign in, and you can see all the users here. Fun fact is that Superbase has a 50,000 free monthly active user tier plan. Again, very very nice. But if your applications has heavy database or heavy streaming processes, then you will have to pay something. So you can go through the pricing section. But this is another second amazing feature, which is authentication. You have sign-in provider, session, rate limiting. Let's say you want to rate limit if there is a bot tag, or if you don't want the users to sign in multiple times and a few quick sessions. You have all those prefigured. So for example, let's see, if you wanted to have a rate limiting for yourself, you would have to apply some sort of logic. You would have to have some Redis, Upstash, some sort of real-time rate limiting logic in your code. You don't need those things now because already this is provided here. Most of the times you won't need it, but let's say if there's something goes wrong, then you can check these things out. And then attack protection is there, auth hooks are there, there's advanced tools as well in which you can connect other tools, and then there's duration and policy and all those things. So go through these things. Again, most of them will not be applicable for very basic applications, but as we build some complicated things, let's say you have hundreds of 3 or 4 user auths, and then hundreds of users are doing something and there's bugs, then you probably have to look at these policies or users and all these different sessions and see, okay, if something is working or not. Third feature is the storage. You've probably heard of the AWS S3 bucket. That is a very very famous thing that people use. So this is basically just a cloud object bucket. Anything that you want to store on the cloud, any kind of storage you want to store, you can use this bucket. You can use AWS bucket, you can use Superbase bucket, you can use Firebase bucket. All three are fine, but storage, an example could be that, let's say you take the user's resume, you want to put it in the storage. Let's say user adds photos, Google ads, Facebook ads, you have seen that people will upload photos and then use those photos directly from the portal rather than uploading every time. So you can just store those photos into the bucket. Very very easy. And again, this is a very simple straightforward way, nothing too crazy. Again, we will dive into the code in different videos, but this is a brief introduction on Supabase and Firebase and how you can use. And again, Firebase is exactly the same. Supabase is actually, if you look at the main website, it is actually Postgres data. They openly say that it is a Firebase alternate, right? They probably have removed it, but it is a Firebase alternate, Firebase open source alternate, and you can use their, go to their GitHub also to check what all they are offering. Then you finally have edge functions and real-time stuff. This is very very niche, and we will talk about it as we build some different things. But you can have some edge functions which are always running around, always running, or basically doing any sort of complex logic that you want to put it on the server. So again, it's very niche. A lot of times you won't even need it. A lot of time most people never use edge functions. You can just use the basic stuff, call APIs, and just build normal things. But yeah, we'll talk about edge functions when we build some application where we might use it. And then you have all sorts of different things like reports, logs, logging, in the sense reporting, in the sense like, okay, how many customers have logged in, all these different kind of things, and what is the status of storage and caching and database, how many people have sort of, what is the storage right now, have has it gone above 100 GB or 50 GB. So all these tiny little things, mostly people use it for authentication, database, and table editing. Mainly that is the whole purpose of having just authentication database. Rest the features will come from different AI tools, and you have seen hundreds of SaaS now which are powered by these little things. So for example, Headshot Pro, you can make a headshot generator very very easily. I don't know if this website is live or not, but I will show you a very simple headshot generator. All these SaaS tools that you're seeing in the market can be easily built by this. You just have a database, you just connect APIs, and then you just offer whatever you want to offer to the user in the end. Yes, you probably need some uh email sending or customer report and all those things. Those are separate, but yes, for the most part people will use this for authentication and database. Same goes with Firebase. So if you check out Firebase, you will see that Firebase is again very very similar. You have storage here, you have Firebase database, you have authentication. The UI looks a little bit different. You will have to enable all these things. So let's say you want to enable Twitter, you will have to add Twitter API key, all these things. You have templates that if somebody asks for password reset, what should they get? If they ask for email address change, what should they get? So again, go through these dashboards, very very easy to use. We will be using them directly. Superbase, Firebase are super important for building quick applications. They are very generous with their free plan, and you can see they have a cloud fire store as well. So this is again a object style database that you can see. It looks a little bit different. They have a document style database, and what you will see here is that you have a data collection. You have a collection called apps. You have a document inside apps. So these are all the different documents, and each document has a different field. So you have category, clause, description, tags, title. You can start a collection, you can add a different document over here, and you can start a complete collection from here. So we can just give it any ID, and then you add all these different fields, whatever you want. The field type can be different. So yeah, we'll be looking at all of this. Firebase Studio enables you to do this, but you have to be careful that this is a document style thing, this is a Postgres thing. Doesn't really matter what it means. All in all, it just really matters that, okay, the we are storing things in a very different way. So again, our aim is to build SaaS tools fast, super fast, deploy them fast, see how we can build basically anything on the internet with as little knowledge as possible, and combine our coding knowledge to see how to debug and make really complicated different projects later on. But yeah, this is a detailed tool that you can use for, again, authentication, database, storage, real-time stuff, analytics. You can have functions on the internet, on the server, that will power anything and everything that you want. And then you have hosting, you have data connections, you have machine learning stuff too here. A lot of people use the ML kit that Firebase offers, and then if you want anything like this, go check it out. Feel free to check it out, feel free to check out all these tools. And yeah, this is a brief introduction, and you should log into Superbase Firebase, and yeah, learn it. Start learning Superbase Firebase. Very nice tools. So now let's look at Vercel.com, which is a platform that the Next.js team has built, and they build both Vercel and Next.js. That is why the compatibility is on par. We will go through some of the features that Vercel offers and why this is actually one of the fan favorites, or one of the tech favorite products. Super easy to deploy. So first of all, you can have a new project. You can just import your Git repository, and you can straight away deploy it with a link. It will do everything for you. No downloading anything, no doing any changes in any of the things. And if there is an error, it will directly tell you, okay, this is how you fix it. You can just also plug it in inside the AI, and it will do it for you. My account is suspended because I think the payment failed for some reason, but I will show you some of the projects that I have. I have hundreds of projects here. And for example, this is creator biolink. So you can see that a domain is connected. If you go, the deployment is paused, but the domain is connected. So you can simply go do that from settings. You can go to domains, and you can just add a domain. And once you add a domain, you will be able to see, okay, you have to make these changes in the DNS server. So you just go to your domain hosting services, which is Squarespace. In my case, you will go to Squarespace, Hostinger, Namecheap, or GoDaddy, and then you will just copy paste the some DNS settings. You will copy paste some DNS settings and you will just paste it here. Okay, that is one thing. Second is that if you have any environment variables, you can add it here. If you are using some edge functions, you can add it here. If you have any other integrations, you can add it here. You can have functions, as I said, you can have edge functions all over here. You can have any webhooks. If you have any continuous back and forth and you want to monitor any something 24 hours, you can do that. You can see the logs, that okay, was there any warning log, was there any DDoS attack, all these things. You can observe everything. Yeah, there's a firewall. You can have analytics, web analytics. You can enable and put the piece of code inside your application, and this is very simple. And then you can also see the deployment, so you can connect your GitHub, which I explained in a separate video, that this is a GitHub repository where you host the code, and you can just connect your GitHub with Vercel and it will automatically fetch the deployments. You can also make a deployment hook. If you go here, you can create a deployment. You can have deployment hooks that you can just call from your phone or something. And then this is a very simple, nice, beautiful platform to host your applications. There are many other alternatives. You have Heroku, which is another alternative deploying applications. You can use Heroku. You have a Railway deploy. You can have which is again infrastructure thing. You can deploy here. You can have a Python app. You can have a very nice Flask app. You can deploy on Railway as well, and then you can see what is the pricing, and $5 or $10, whatever. So all three are good, all three are very nice. Next.js just has a far better compatibility with Vercel, easier to build, easy to do, free free tiers. You don't have to pay anything for a long time, and even if you do, it's only $20. So again, a very nice product, a very simple introduction here. Explore the things. You can go into analytics, you can have storage systems, you can have AI systems, everything. And they also have their own like DB. If you see, they all also have their own DB stuff right here now. So you can also connect Superbase right there. You can connect Neon, you can connect Prisma, Postgres, all these different kinds of DBs. You can have, there are 100 different alternatives that you can use. But basically our eventual goal is to make SaaS, make money from SaaS, have a seamless production ready application, and we are focused on that. So yeah, let's look at more things. So now that you have a brief introduction of Next.js, Firebase, Superbase, and I've told you that Vercel is behind the company behind Next.js, so we can easily deploy to Vercel, and you've probably also learned Vercel. I will show you that there is a very simple pattern that you can follow. This is a pattern for building SaaS tools. It's a very simple pattern, and you can use it to basically build anything, right? So Next.js is the app, is the framework or thing that we will use for mostly front end. Firebase or Superbase we will use for authentication database. For payments, we have Stripe, Razorpay, all these things. And then for deployment, we have Vercel. And there is a step-by-step process of how you go and build all these applications. So first of all, you can download Next.js if you want to build with code. And in this, I'll show you a little, I'll just guide you how to do this. And then I will show you how to do this with AI, just AI, no coding whatsoever. So if you want to build any full stack application with Next.js, Firebase, Vercel, what you will do is you will start with the Next.js project. You will download Next.js. You will install Next.js with just npx create next app, and this will be a very simple, very simple command that will install Next.js, and it will create a new application. Second is that you will install Firebase. So this is a way to install Firebase into your app. You will install Firebase, and you will install some hooks that we will use directly. Second is, third step is going to be configuring the Firebase. So Firebase has some sort of config, API keys, all those things. You will need to have some rules that we said, okay, allowed reading and writing, and you will have to copy paste the Firebase config into this file. So that is going to be very nice. So that is step 4. So you will have API key, auth, domain, project ID, storage bucket, app ID, all these things. Once you do this, we will initialize this and we will integrate this into the Next.js application. And I will show you this step by step. This is just a brief introduction of how you go pattern. What is the pattern behind building a SaaS? So there is a very strict pattern that you can follow, and you can easily build any SaaS application on the planet. So once we have the Firebase connected, you basically have a full stack application, bare bones. You have Next.js for front end, back end, you have Firebase for DB auth, and then you just have to implement those copy paste functions. You will have login, logout, you will have DB, you can have unlimited tables. You just need a way to connect those tables, and then you have to go into the Firebase console to have data in those tables, and you can also populate data. And then you need a way to fetch that data, you need a way to show that data, you need to have loading screens. So this is a bare bones, but it gets complicated very, very easy. So you have to understand the bare bones as well. So now you can see authentication. Authentication again is very, very easy. If you know React and Next.js, you will see that, okay, we are just importing auth, we are importing use auth state, we are importing this from React, and this is a simple context provider that we have here. You don't even need context. Context is something in React, but for a very, very simple application, you will see that you just query it from the database. You have a snapshot where use get docs, and again, all these functions are already provided in the Firebase documentation. So everything is coming from the Firebase docs. We are not making any functions where collection, this is a collection, already comes from there. Get docs already comes from there. Query already comes from there. So all of these are from Firebase documentation. So we will query the database, then we will have a snapshot, then we will take out the products, and then we can return the products in the props. So again, this is a very streamlined way of fetching the products in the UI and then showing it in the UI. I will show you many different examples, and we will build many, many different applications. So you will see that how important the bare bones are, right? And once you understand the bare bones, you can make anything. You can make hundreds of directories, job boards, restaurant apps, has hotel apps, anything. What's the key important factor in those SaaS applications or those directories? You just have to fetch. You just have to fetch the hotels and show it. You just have to fetch the jobs and show it. And then you can have some other scraping or something going on behind the scenes where you add the jobs, but in the front end, you basically will have to do something like this. You just query the database and you get the jobs or get the hotels or get the restaurants. So those are very, very simple. Then you have different sorts of CRUD logic, shopping cart logic. If you're building e-commerce something, if you're building social media something, if you're building directory it's something, if you're building AI application it's something. So it's all different stuff. And then there's multiple different things. And then finally deploying to Vercel is very nice, very simple. You deploy the code to GitHub, you deploy the code to Vercel, and then you basically have a domain as well. So you probably have seen that in Vercel. But this is the bare bones. We integrate Firebase into Next.js. We have all these functions defined from Firebase and Superbase, same way, exactly the same way. We use those functions in with Next.js or React, and then we have some features from React, which is context state management. Then we have some features from Firebase or Superbase. Then we deploy it on Vercel, and if you want to integrate payments, then it becomes a little bit complicated. But this is the bare bones. And if you see any other project as well, and if I show you, let's say, Next.js with Supabase, you will see that the Supabase step is going to be very, very simple. So we set up a Supabase, we create a table as I showed you in the table editor, we create another table, we create another table order items, we get the API key, and then we initialize Supabase inside the Next.js application. Once you integrate it, you just have to add your API keys, and you can have authentication, you can have fetching, and then you can have posting, whatever. So all the CRUD related functions are already provided from Supabase. So you can say supabase.auth, you can say supabase.from. Fetching related things are a little bit different because we have a different database, different functions, all these things. But again, you can see the bare bones and a pattern is very, very similar. So making a SaaS, making full stack projects is all about patterns. Once you understand a pattern, it's going to be very, very easy for you to build all these applications. So yeah, let's look at more things in the coming videos, and you will easily be able to integrate all these applications very, very easily. Different sort of application libraries, whatever you are making. So yeah, it will be not a big task once you understand how this pattern is being played. Now let's look at two of the most common AI tools that people are using to build SaaS applications. First is Lovable and the second one is Bolt. Both of them are very, very nice. I've showed you in many different videos about Bolt and Lovable, but you can just see that they both start from a simple text box. Both of them use Vue.js actually. So the problem with Bolt and Lovable is that they use Vue.js behind the scenes. They don't use React.js, which is totally fine. It is not a problem whatsoever. And there is another thing which is a Replit agent. Again, very, very simple, similar tool. Replit agent is again similar. They have some additional features where you can have different databases you can choose. And then you have V0. V0 is a tool by Vercel, right? So Vercel has a tool V0. So you can build things in Next.js as well. You don't have to use Bolt and Lovable. You can use V0. Three tools all in all. So let's do a quick brief introduction of a simple application. We are going to use a directory application, let's say. So we want to have, let's make a directory of awesome Indian dishes. Okay, so it's a recipe based applications. We will plug in simple prompts, and we are not going to use Zapier for this example, but we will plug in simple prompts, and you will see how big of a difference a prompt will make. So these are little hacks that we will see, and we have to learn over the by practicing making these apps, that prompts make a huge difference. If you are writing good prompts, it will make a huge difference. So if you are building an AI, you have to include a PRD documentation. You should include a tech stack. You should include a database thing, and you can also include the MVP requirements, which is in the PRD documentation sometimes, or it could be separate. So if you include those three documentation, it will have a far better result. For UI, some of the tips are that for UI, you should have some images. You should attach some references. You should attach all these different kinds of things, and that is very very nice for landing pages. So again, we have all these AI tools and tricks in order to have a production ready application. And again, learning to code is not that bad if you are using AI tools, because if you are stuck in debugging, you can use that. So see, we have a very nice directory. It is probably not powered by a database, so there is no database right now, and soon we will see how we connect different databases. So I've told you Supabase, Firebase, we can make all these different databases. And along with this, we will also see an example of Firebase Studio. So let's do Firebase Studio. Let's go to the Studio Firebase, and let's just write this and say, okay, I have reached the workspace limit. And even though I have not made anything, the workspace limit has been reached. Okay. So let's make a directory of awesome Indian dishes, and it will prototype with AI. This is ready, which looks very very nice. So again, there are some core features in these applications. V0 uses shared cn. This is using tailwind css automatically. Bolt uses tailwind css. I have seen Bolt takes a little bit of time. I think they do some optimizations, which is nice. They use vjs. I think this uses vjs. You can check out the code here. You can check out the code in Bolt. You can check out the code here. You can download it, publish it, put your GitHub to it, all these different kinds of things. So again, you can directly connect to GitHub, directly connect to Vercel, deploy your application in minutes, right? You just publish on GitHub, then go to Vercel, import from GitHub. Super easy to deploy applications. Back in the day, it used to take days, right? Like people didn't even know how to connect. So which one is your favorite, right? Which one is your favorite? Bolt, Lovable, or V0? Again, V0 is Shatsian, so I would keep this separate. But in Bolt versus Lovable, I think, oh, it's a tough fight. But yeah, they both are very very nice with single prompt. So this is a single prompt application that we have built. Super easy to make. There is no database. We will integrate Supabase. We'll learn how to integrate Firebase, all these different things. And again, this is still going on. So they have chosen an Indian color, which is orange, white, and green. Again, very very nice overall. And you have a directory app, so now you can build any directory app on the planet. You can have jobs, you can have restaurants, you can have hotels, everything. And once you see how you connect database and authentication, things will become 100 times easier and faster for you. So yeah, this is a very basic introduction and a basic application that